Red alert, U.S. bank staff confirms dinar and dong exchange window. About to open, act fast. Iraqi dinar with the RV News intro. Welcome back to RV News, the channel where we bring you the latest and most explosive updates on the global currency revaluation, the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese Dong, and all the behind-the-scenes movements that the mainstream media doesn't dare to touch. If you are holding on to foreign currencies like the IQD, VND, or others, you're in the right place. Because today's intel could change everything for you. This is not just another rumor. This is a red alert. Our sources have confirmed, through direct conversations with U.S. bank staff, that the exchange window for dinar and dong is about to open, and when it does, there will be a very small window of opportunity before the rates shift again. That means time is no longer on your side, action is. Over the past several months, we've been tracking patterns, movements, and whispers across the banking sector. The RV, or revaluation, of certain currencies has been in the works for years, and while there have been delays, false starts, and intentional misinformation to throw people off, our latest intel cuts through the noise. According to multiple sources inside Tier 1 U.S. banks, branch managers and select currency exchange officers have now been briefed about an incoming wave of redemptions. This is not a training exercise or an abstract scenario. Staff members have been given actual operational details, including timing windows, required ID documentation, and customer handling protocols for high-value currency holders. That's the kind of preparation that only happens when a real event is imminent. From what we understand, the banks are moving fast because they know that once this window opens, they will have to manage it with absolute precision. Remember, this is not going to be a 6-month-long exchange period. The rates we're hearing unconfirmed but consistent across multiple reports are rates that could shock the market. Once they go live, they could be active for days or even just hours before being adjusted or pulled back to managed levels. That's why the banks are emphasizing speed and confidentiality. They're not advertising this. There won't be billboards or TV commercials telling you the RV is here. This is designed for those who are prepared, informed, and ready to act the moment the signal comes. The U.S. bank staff that are insiders spoke with hinted at the use of appointment-only exchanges for higher volume holders, particularly those with large bundles of Iraqi dinar or Vietnamese dong. This means you won't just walk into your local branch with a box of currency and get the RV rate on the spot. You'll need to either receive a direct communication from your bank or contact their dedicated exchange desk to secure a slot. These appointments will likely be tied to redemption centers facilities, specifically prepared to handle currency verification, rate locking, and immediate disbursement of funds into your accounts. If you miss your appointment or fail to book one during the active window, you may lose access to the higher contract or market rates. Now, let's talk about what triggered this sudden readiness. Over the past week, there has been a flurry of activity in Iraq's financial sector. The Central Bank of Iraq has been holding closed-door meetings with international financial regulators, and unconfirmed reports suggest that final approval for their new exchange rate framework has been signed off at multiple levels. Meanwhile, in Vietnam, the state bank has been quietly adjusting its foreign reserves and aligning its monetary policy with IMF requirements. This type of synchronized movement between two historically undervalued currencies is not a coincidence. It points to a coordinated rollout, and U.S. banks are clearly bracing for it. Our contact within one of the largest U.S. banks revealed that a memo circulated to select employees late last night contained direct references to IQD and VN as priority currencies for immediate customer service readiness. It outlines step-by-step verification protocols, security measures for high-value transactions, and strict non-disclosure guidelines. In other words, the people inside the bank, who know this information, are legally bound not to talk about it outside of their official duties. That's why this intel is so rare, and why we're calling this a red alert. One thing we must emphasize is that while the rates have not yet appeared on public forex screens, that doesn't mean they aren't live in back-end banking systems. Historically, before a major rate adjustment goes public, it often appears in pending or gray screen mode for internal bank systems. This allows staff to test the process and prepare for a sudden surge in transactions without tipping off the general public. Our source says these screens are already loaded with placeholders for the new IQD and VND rates, waiting for the final release command. What does this mean for you as a currency holder? It means you need to have everything ready: your currency organized, your identification in order, your plan for deposit versus cash out decisions, and even a conversation with a trusted financial advisor if possible. Once this goes live, you won't have time to figure things out on the fly. The banks will prioritize those who are prepared, and they will have little patience for delays. If you walk in unprepared, you may end up being told to return later, by which time the rate could already be adjusted down. There's also another layer here: competition. You're not the only one who knows about the dinar and dong revaluation. Thousands of other holders across the US and around the world are watching the same signals and waiting for the same green light. Once this window opens, there will be a flood of appointments and redemptions. And just like with any market-moving event, the earliest movers often get the best results. This is why our message today is urgent. The opportunity is real, but so is the risk of missing it? Some have asked why the banks don't just announce this openly if it's really happening. The answer lies in market stability. A sudden, public revaluation announcement could create chaos in financial markets, disrupt currency flows, and even cause runs on certain bank branches. By keeping this quiet and managing it through controlled channels, they maintain order and protect themselves from overwhelming demand. That's why your preparation and insider awareness give you an advantage, because you're operating in that narrow band of informed individuals who know when and how to act. In the next few days, you should be watching for subtle signs from your bank. This could include unusual account notices, calls from a financial advisor you haven't spoken to in months, or even updates to your bank's currency exchange policies online. If you've ever done a small foreign currency exchange at your branch before, you may already be on their radar. Some banks maintain lists of customers who have historically purchased IQD, VND, or other revaluation-targeted currencies. And these lists could be used to prioritize exchange appointments. Let's also address the possible rates. While nothing is official until it's on the live screen, the chatter in banking and currency circles continues to point toward a significant jump for both currencies. For the Iraqi dinar, multiple sources still reference rates above $4 USD per IQD for those who qualify for contract rates, with public rates slightly lower but still life-changing for most holders. For the Vietnamese Dong, the numbers are smaller but still substantial, with whispers of rates in the 40 cents to 60 cents range, possibly higher under certain negotiated terms. If these numbers prove accurate, even modest holdings could transform your financial situation overnight. You should also be prepared for non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, in certain cases. If you are offered a higher than public rate, the bank may require you to sign an NDA to prevent you from publicly sharing the details of your transaction. This is standard practice in high-level financial operations, and it's designed to keep sensitive information from leaking before the process is complete for all participants. Read any document carefully, and if possible, seek legal advice before signing anything, but don't let that step slow you down to the point of missing your window. Our sources also warned about possible attempts by opportunistic third parties to intercept this process. Scammers and fraudulent exchange groups are known to pop up around events like this, offering to handle your exchange for you or promising exclusive rates in exchange for upfront fees or access to your currency. Do not fall for these schemes. Stick to legitimate Tier 1 banks and recognized financial institutions. If you're unsure about a contact, do your due diligence before handing over anything of value. This brings us to security. If you are carrying large amounts of currency to your bank appointment, be mindful of your safety. Use a secure, discreet method of transport. If necessary, bring a trusted friend or family member, and avoid discussing your plans publicly or even with acquaintances. You never know who might be listening, and in an event of this magnitude, privacy is your best defense. As we move forward, the timing could be very sudden. One of the U.S. bank staff members indicated that the go signal could be given during off-peak hours, even late at night or early in the morning, to avoid immediate public rushes. That means you could wake up tomorrow, check your messages, and find out your appointment window has opened. It also means you may have to move quickly to your nearest exchange location, regardless of convenience. If you've been procrastinating, now is the time to scout out.